Welcome to the American 2019 Ford Fiesta ST. It's kind of a bummer that this is the last Fiesta ST America's gonna see for now. This little car didn't change really from 2018 to 2019. I feel like they kind of were giving it kind of a goodbye. Let's have one more year of it. Didn't really do anything, didn't update anything, but it still has the 200 horsepower little 1.6 liter turbocharged engine. And what that does is it makes this little car alive. It brings it to life. It makes it a ton of fun to drive. And it's actually very, very sprightly. And most people know that about the Fiesta ST. We all know it's a good little hot hatch. But is it really as good as everybody says and everybody claims that it's so fun to drive? And that's what we're going to find out today. It's a little wet. I'm pretty excited to compare how it does versus the moment of silence, how it compares versus that GTI. I know it's not going to be as fast as the GTI, but I want to see, what I really want to know is that GTI's front differential that amazing. When I drove that GTI, I was blown away by how it turned in. Even in the wet, it had so much grip, it would turn in even when the tires would slip a little bit, which was very, very impressive to me. So I want to see how this compares to that. All right, we're in my favorite neck of the woods, if you will. Heel toe is actually surprisingly a little more difficult than I thought because this has a small pedal box, but the dash right here, kind of where this comes down, gets in the way of your leg kind of being able to rock over to the side, which is weird. But it's okay. It is okay. This road is properly wet. One thing I also wish the shifter throw was a little bit shorter and tighter. It feels a little loose, a little sloppy. Okay, so I just got some wheel spin there. Yeah, it pushes out, which is to be expected, really, but somehow Volkswagen has figured out how to make it not do that, which is impressive, very impressive, really, because this just, it's a lot of fun. I don't want to give the wrong idea, really, because this car is a ton of fun, but that GTI's front differential is a world of a difference. In one of the comments in my videos, someone was like, I think you're overreacting. And I did feel like that a little bit watching it back, like, man, Casey, calm down. But no, I really think it was valid, because this pushing, when the front wheels would spin, it would push, which is like a normal front wheel drive, but the GTI did not do that. The GTI pulled in tighter into the turn, which was obviously mind-blowing to me. So this is still a ton of fun, and I'm really sad to see it go. And I think what makes that separates it, obviously, is the GTI is a bigger car. It's a more expensive car, so that you pay for that front differential. This is just meant to be a fun little hot hatch. A couple little things about the car itself, like how does it function? The dash is very, very simple, very easy to use, very straightforward, which is nice. The gauge cluster is very simple. Push button start, which I love that. I love that you don't have to put a key in. I'm glad that this simple little car used that technology. I feel like GM took forever, even on their big fancy Sierra Denali pickup trucks, you still had to put a key in 2016. It's like, come on. I wish this had one-touch power window for the passenger. It doesn't. It's just driver only. That's my biggest pet peeve with cars when they're cheaper. How much more expensive is it to add that technology into the next door neighbor? It just drives me nuts. It can't be that much more expensive. But maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong. I do wish the steering wheel was smaller. It feels oversized for this car. And I do wish the seats had a little more bolstering, especially for this being the ST. I'm sure if you get the Recaros, it's better, but these are just very sloppy. But those are minor complaints. Everything else for just your standard car is fine. It works great. I like that the center console, this screen, doesn't look like an iPad slapped into the dash. There's actually some molding around it to bring it to look like it was an intentional thing in the dashboard, which is nice. So overall, interior-wise, I think it's fine. It's a small little car. There's enough room for people in the back. It's a tiny little car, but it's fine. It does fine. And then there's a lot of plastic in here, and a lot of people like complain about that. And I'm like, what do you expect? What do you expect, really? I mean, it's a cheap little car. You can't have super awesome fit and finish in here. It's for what it is. It's fine. It's good. So overall, what do I think? I think Ford has done an excellent job at making the hot hatch. I love that they've done it in this little Fiesta because that's kind of how it originally started. The Golf GTI was much smaller in its original form, and this is kind of a lot closer to that original size than a lot of us realize. But I'm really sad to see this is going. For us here in the United States, it's a true bummer. The thing is, there's a ton of us out there that love these little cars, and there's a ton of us out there that love them and didn't buy them. So that's the problem. That's why we're seeing this go away. There's a few little quirks about this car that I find funny. Like, I'm pretty comfortable right here. I'm pretty close to the steering wheel, to be honest. I can probably go back a little bit. Yeah, that's comfortable too. And still, the sunroof feels a little bit far back behind me. It's kind of weird. But it's such a fun little car. I love this little thing. Yeah, it pushes in the corners when it starts to spin, but it's not crazy. It's not too terrible. And the thing that makes it hard for me is the GTI that I just did that video on didn't. It just pulled into the corners. That front differential on that thing is fantastic. And I understand that this is a much cheaper car, than the GTI. But I just wish it did the same thing. I really do. It's kind of sad. But it's still a ton of fun. Bang for your buck is there. I mean, this thing is a blast to drive. It's only got 200 horsepower, but it feels like it has so much more because of the torque and the turbo surge. And that's one of my favorite things about turbocharged little 4-cylinder engines. They feel so much faster than what they really are. And this car feels very planted. You have a ton of confidence going into the corners. I do wish the heel toe was a little bit easier. I think the issue is, basically, the issue is this right here. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. My leg, it doesn't allow me to get the angle I want with my leg to be able to roll over and hit the gas. Because honestly, between the brake and the gas, there's kind of a decent sized gap. But that's one of those things that with practice and with time and learning how to do it for this car, I think you could be fine. It's just a little awkward for me because I'm not used to it. So overall, I really like this car. I think bang for your buck on this thing is definitely, like I said, there. And I think the used market on these things is where to go. Now, this is Eli's camera. This is basically, we use this car as our camera car. This is Eli's car. And it works awesomely as our little chase car, or technically our lead car, so we can shoot out the back hatch, which works great. And it's so nimble. I mean, wow. I can't wait to see what we do with this car, what Eli adds to it power-wise. I mean, he's already done little exhaust mods and some intake mods that are just kind of DIY or backyard special. So once we get some legit good mods on this thing, it's going to be a ton of fun. I'd like to see it with more grip, with a little bit tighter suspension, definitely a better shifter setup. But, oh, nice little backfire. But yeah, love the car. Definitely, if you're looking for a hot hatch and you don't mind it being tiny, this is definitely a fun car. Oh, man. Yeah. So, thank you all for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to check out our podcast. We try to post on Tuesdays. We had some weird little issues on the last one. Check us out on the Auto Show on Roku and Amazon streaming devices. Thank you so much for subscribing. We just passed 3,000 subscribers. That's tiny in the world of YouTube, but it's big for us. It's another step forward. So thank you so much for subscribing, for watching, and all of your support. Have an awesome day.